Committee on Public Petitions for further legislative action. We have another announcement, and this time is coming from Honorable Kingsley Chinda, Minority Leader of the House. And the message is an invitation to all PDP members and all other members of the House to the birthday celebration of the former Vice President, His Excellency Alhaji Atiku Abubakar Waziri Adamawa GCON, today, 26 November 2024, time 1:30. All members are to converge at the Speaker's car park. As I've said earlier, the announcer is Honorable Kingsley Chinda, Minority Leader. Matters of urgent public importance. It's my pleasure to call on Honorable Hart Cyril Godwin to move his motion. Honorable Hart.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Hart Cyril Godwin. I represent the fabulous people of Boni, Degema Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from River State. I rise with a heavy heart again, pursuant to Order 8, Rule 5. That the House suspends its rules to enable me to take a motion on a matter of urgent public importance concerning the murder of all oil spills that sacked a full community in Boni local government area in River State. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg? Honorable Mohammed.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My distinguished honorable colleague. My name is Honorable Mohammed Ang Abbashehu, member representing Zaki Federal Constituency from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion heavily moved my colleague that the matter is urgent enough to be heard. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Mohammed from Kano, Gwale, please can you second the second leg of the motion?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I am Garba Ibrahim Muhammad, representing Gwale Federal Constituency from Kano State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the second leg of the motion. I so second. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Sili, you have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. An urgent call on NMPCL to clean up, give relief, and restore communities sacked by the massive oil spill from its aged and corroded crude oil pipeline in Boni LG. The House notes that Boni local government area is the oil and gas hub of Nigeria, a community crisscrossed with crude oil and gas pipelines constructed since 1958 to transport crude oil from various oil locations in the Niger Delta to the XPDC crude oil export terminal in Boni, LJ. Further notes that the NMPCL are owners of the crude oil pipelines. These aged and corroded pipelines are not only environmental hazards, but time bombs waiting to explode as a result of lack of maintenance, repairs, and replacement. Aware that at the early hours of November 23rd, 2024, the indigents of Oloma community in Boni LJ in River State were woken up by the thunderous sound from the explosion of one of the aged and corroded crude oil pipelines belonging to the NMPCL. The aftermath of that explosion left the whole community, the roof of their buildings, the creeks, the rivers, the boats, the nets, and their farmlands, all drenched in crude oil. Further aware that the absence of immediate containment of the spill has exacerbated the situation, as the river current has spread the oil to the neighboring communities of Pelema, Orupiri, Ayaminima, Minima, Oluma, Ogwede, among others. Concerned that the impact of the spill has sacked residents of Iloma community, who are now taking refuge in the mangroves and forests, and some of them living in their boats due to the fear of a possible fire outbreak. Worried that aquatic lives, farmlands, and indeed the means of livelihood of the people of Iloma is diminished. Further worried that the NMPCL is yet to give relief to the affected communities and contain this murder of all oil spills after the Ogoni experience, resolves to urge the NMPCL to immediately give relief to the people of Iloma and rebuild their homes. Urge the NMPCL to immediately clean up the environment of the affected communities and replace all aged and corroded pipelines in Bonny LGA. Mandate the Committee on Host Communities to ensure compliance within 4 weeks. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Akarachi.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Honorable Engineer Akarachi Orishem Matosa and Tiosa Amadi. I represent the good people of Mbitoli Keduru Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker, I'm from Imo State. I humbly rise to second this all-important motion moved by my brother and colleague. Mr. Speaker, I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Host Communities for further legislative action. The second motion of the day is coming from Honorable Obuku Oforji. If Honorable Oforji is around, please can you rise and move your motion?
With profound humility, Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, Oforji Abonsis Obuku is my name, representing Yenegwa Kolokumo Pokuma Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning with the leave of Mr. Speaker and my colleagues to move a motion of urgent public importance on the need for the federal government to urgently provide adequate security for the transmission towers in Rivers, Bayelsa State, and the country in general. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
Any seconder to the first leg, Honorable Ize?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Iazanzao, GCON. Revered colleagues, Eze, Nwachuku Eze is my name. I represent the good people of Ebonyi, Ohuku Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from the salt of the nation state, Ebonyi State. I rise this morning to second the motion to step down the relevant rules to enable my colleague, Honorable Oforji, move the motion for urgent public importance. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. The second leg of the motion, any seconder? My dear brother from Benue, I believe.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Speaker, my dear colleagues. My name is Solomon Wombo. I represent the people of Kasnala, Okom, Logo Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I am from Benue State. I stand to second the second leg of the motion that is urgent enough for us to take it now. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Oforji, you have the floor.
The Right Honorable Mr. Speaker, my revered colleagues, Oforji Abonsis Obuku is my name, representing Yenegwa Kolokumo Pokuma Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, the House note that On July 29, 2024, the resident of Bayelsa, Mr. Speaker, the House noted that on July 29, 2024, the residents of Yenegua and Bayelsa State in general woke up to a total blackout occasioned by the collapse of transmission station between Emezi and Imbiama in Awoda East local government area of Rivers State, and 3 others between Igbogene and Inedugu, Agbea in Yenegua local government area of Bayelsa State. I also note that the Bayelsa State government, in collaboration with the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, swiftly swung into action to address these challenges that has culminated in dwindling of social economic activities in the state. The House is saddened that on 19th of November 2024, just as the work was nearing completion at Ola Akpata, in Awoda East local government area of Rivers State, some hoodlums went and vandalized a section of the lines. Mr. Speaker, the House is disturbed that by this development, the woe of the residents of Bayelsa State still subsists for 1 or 2 days, because as we speak, the people of the state are in total blackout. This has been the situation for over 4 months. Cognizant that the effort of the Bayelsa State government in mobilizing financial and material resources to support the Transition Company of Nigeria and TCN is highly commended. However, proactive measures must be taken to forestall future occurrences of vandalism of these transmission towers as representative to forestall future occurrence of vandalism of this transmission tower. As a representative of my people, this brings to mind the provision of Chapter 2 of the 1999 Constitution of Nigeria as amended, which talk about our economic and social rights as citizens, which I believe should not be taken for granted by government. The House resolved urge the federal government through the Ministry of Interior to urgently provide adequate security for these transmission towers across the country to avoid future occurrence of vandalism. Mandate the Committee of Interior and Power to ensure compliance. Mr. Speaker, my respected colleagues, I so move.
Any seconder? Honorable Fred.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, for yielding the floor to me. Agbedi Yejim Frederick is my name. I represent Sagbama Ekrema Federal Constituency. I'm from Bayelsa State. Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, this is a pathetic situation that affects the entire state, and so I rise to second the motion as ably moved by Honorable Forgy. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Interior and Power for further legislative action. Personal explanation? Let me start with Honorable Rotimi, who has approached me personally to request for this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise under Order 8, Rule 6, to seek the leave of the House to lay a personal explanation.
You don't need any approval. Just go ahead with your explanation, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Nigerians would note today that parliamentarians in the Green Chamber are all adorning orange sashes, and I think that it's important, Mr. Speaker, that we explain the reason for it. As part of the 16 days of global advocacy against gender-based violence, under the leadership of Right Honorable Abbas Tajuddin, we have decided to show very strongly our solidarity against gender-based violence in Nigeria. Yesterday, Mr. Speaker, you led a walk that had over 3,000 people from the National Assembly all the way to the Nigeria Police Force to lay a petition in this regard. And so Nigerians should note today that we are wearing orange sashes to be able to show our support. And we're going to be doing that from today up until December 10, 2024, which is a period within which the global activism would last. Nigerians should also note that the House of Representatives speedily passed the bill for an act to prohibit, prevent, and redress sexual harassment in tertiary institutions. And Nigerians have celebrated us very much for that. So thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, for your leadership. I just thought that Nigerians should be able to understand why we are wearing the orange sashes today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair. Honorable Jimmy, you also have a personal explanation?
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker.
But before you say anything, please adjust your tie. It's not looking straight, so that the women folk will not think that you are just pretending. Please.
Done, sir.
Thank you.
I remain Baba Jimmy Benson, representing the very good people of Ikorodu Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, most times when we rise to do personal explanation, it's always about defending the parliament. But today, I rise to speak to an ambassador of this parliament who has done exceedingly well and projecting the image of the parliament in a rather remarkable manner. And that person is the governor of Niger State, Governor Bago. In his few years as governor, he has shown exemplary leadership, particularly in agricultural revolution, particularly in infrastructural revolution, particularly in enhancing religious tolerance. So it is the opportunity I have to praise him and to ask others like him to emulate him. Sir, a week ago, I got a call from a Cameroonian general who's studying in Harvard. And all he said was about our governor, Bago. He doesn't know him from anywhere, but he's read his giant strides in ensuring that Niger State can feed itself, Nigeria can feed itself, West Africa can feed itself. The Cameroonian man told me that with what Bago is doing, in 7 years' time, Nigeria will be able to feed the world. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to praise this ambassador who we defeated in 2015, including you. We all came together to deny him being the Speaker of the Ninth Assembly. You were a great participant in that. But thank God you foresaw the future. You knew that Bago is not cut out for this parliament. We kicked him out, and he's now doing us really proud. Congratulations, sir. And congratulations to all of us. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Jimmy, but I can remember with nostalgia the role you played in ensuring that he does not succeed as a speaker. And thank you that you are now appreciating him as a governor that is an ambassador of the House. Thank you so much. Honorable Zaid.
Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, my name is Honorable Said Musa Abdullahi. I represent the people of Bida, Gwakokacha Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Niger State. Mr. Speaker, although matters of personal explanation are not subjected to debate, by plead with the Speaker and my colleagues to set aside our rules to allow for one or two words to be added to what my big brother has just mentioned about my governor. Mr. Speaker, as a state, I think it's indeed a bright day for Niger State. This is a state that was created in 1976, a state with huge potentials. When you talk landmass, Niger State is sitting on a landmass that is almost 10% of the total landmass of the country, with huge water bodies and a very fertile land. Unfortunately, in spite of our potentials in terms of agriculture, it's been stories upon stories until God blessed us with a leader who has defined himself as a farmer governor. Mr. Speaker, I've had the rare privilege to be with my governor over the past 18, getting to 20 months of his stewardship as governor of Niger State. I know the energy, I know the drive, I know the vision that he's bringing to bear in terms of changing the economic fortunes of Niger State. Mr. Speaker, I discussed with you penultimate week the study tour we undertook to Brazil and what we saw in Brazil in terms of their sugar economy. As of today, my governor has set out to cultivate 250,000 hectares of land for sugarcane production, and by the numbers that we did, that alone can sustain Niger State. The state has the potential to make about $1 billion just by cultivating 250,000 hectares of land for sugarcane production. And this is the much is doing for other agricultural crops. You talk of rice, which by all indices, Niger State has the potential to feed not just the country, but we have the potential to feed the world of Africa in terms of our rice demand. Now, interestingly also, he has not restricted himself to just the agricultural sector. He's an all-rounder. If you see the massive infrastructural development going on in Niger State today, a lot have wondered where is he getting the funds from. But one thing he will always tell us is the most important thing is to have the vision. If you have the vision and you have the ideas, the monies will naturally flow in. So this is an individual, just like my senior brother, Honorable Jimmy Benson mentioned, is an individual, is one of us, and I don't want to be too selfish to take ownership of him as somebody from Niger State. I want to see him as an ambassador of this Harlow Chamber, somebody that is doing us very, very proud. When I came into the assembly, spending just a few months here, I told my people back home that Niger will only be lucky the day it has a member of the parliament becoming a governor of the state. And thank God it has come to pass, and everybody is releasing on some of the things that we told them. So thank you for giving us this rare privilege to celebrate one of us. And I assure you, his journey in terms of redefining the political and economic fortunes of Niger State has just begun. Let me also add, in Niger State today, we do not have opposition. It treats members of both the ruling party and even the opposition alike. He gave us brand new cars as members of the House, and that was given to all members of the caucus, irrespective of our political affiliation. That's the way he's even managing stakeholders across board. For him, I can write a book, but for giving me this privilege to talk a little about him, I thank you and I thank my honorable colleagues for listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honorable Said. I think you deserve to be given the DG campaign of 2027 election of the governor. I will recommend you when the time comes. Thank you so much. Honorable members, the first business of the day is presentation of 20 bills. I'll now invite the clerk to read their short titles.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. Foreign Exchange Monitoring and Miscellaneous Prohibitions Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. National Council for Arts and Culture Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Health Development Bank of Nigeria Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Town Planners Registration ETC Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Urban and Regional Planning Act Repeal and Enactment Bill 2024, first reading. Accountability and Transparency Bill 2024, first reading. Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria 1999, sixth alteration, creation of Obolo State Bill 2024, first reading. Institute of Agriculture, Agribusiness and Technology, Agasa Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Tourist Center, Lokoja Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal College of Technical Entrepreneurship and Vocational Training, Karara Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Research Institute of Cassava Bioethanol Value Chain Plant, Jamata, Kogi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. National Institute for Rice Mill Industry, Gegu, Beki, Kogi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigeria Customs Service Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Tertiary Education Trust Fund Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading. Institute of Geology, Science and Mining, Agbaja, Kogi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Research Institute of Maritime Industrial Fisheries Resources, Katonkarfe, Kogi State Establishment Bill 2024, first reading. Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2024, first reading, Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, 6 alteration, special seats for the physically challenged persons.
Order, please. Honorable colleagues, resume to your seat, please.
Honorable colleagues, the second business of the day is presentation of report of the Committees on Finance and National Planning and Economic Development on the 2025-2027 Medium-Term Expenditure Framework, MTEF, and Fiscal Strategy Paper. Standing in the name of Honorable James Abiodun Faleke, honorable members will recall that the matter was referred to the committees on Tuesday, November 19, 2024. The report is ready for presentation. Honorable Faleke is hereby invited to move the motion.
Vice Honorable Speaker, Francis Ejirogane is my name. Chairman Rules and Business. We got a message from Honorable Faleke that it be stepped down and relisted for tomorrow plenary. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, this report is stepped down to tomorrow by the leave of the House. The third business of the day is presentation of two reports of Committee on National Planning and Economic Development standing in the name of Honorable Isiaka Ibrahim. Honorable Ibrahim is hereby invited to present the reports.
Thank you very much. Our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. Distinguished honorable colleagues.
Honorable Sada, you are not properly dressed. As a he for she, please try to demand what you have seen other he for she's are wearing.
Identify yourself, please.
Take it quickly and wait for him. Please go ahead, Honorable Isiaka.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Our own quintessential speaker with substantial values. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I speak for the entire Nigerians, and I'm fortunate to be from Ogun State, Ifo Federal Constituency. To be very specific, Mr. Speaker, under your leadership, I rise to seek the consent of the House that will enable me, on behalf of the House Committee on National Planning and Economic Development, to lay a report that the House do receive the report of the Committee on National Planning and Economic Development on a bill for an act to repeal National Planning Commission Act Cap N66, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, and to establish budget and national planning offices, ensure greater accountability and transparency in national planning and budget implementation, and for related matters, HP 1302. Subsequently, Mr. Speaker, I seek the leave of the House on behalf of the Committee on National Planning and Economic Development. The House do receive a report of the Committee on National Planning and Economic Development on a bill for an act to regulate the planning, preparation, passage, and execution of the budget of the government of the Federation, and for related matter, by the special grace of God, which my own very speaker is a sponsor. Please, I seek your leave to enable me lay it on behalf of the committee, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Any seconder? Is your deputy chairman around? Deputy Chairman, National Planning, please, can you second?
Thank you very much, my dear Speaker, my colleagues. My name is Clement Jimbo. I still represent the very good people of our back, Etmekbo and Ika Federal Constituency. I'm from Akwa Ibom State. I stand to second the motion ably moved by my chairman. I so second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. Honorable Isiaka, please proceed and lay your report. Honorable colleagues, the first order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation Act, number 63 of 2023, to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy in line with Section 1(3) of the Principal Act, to bring it in line with current realities and best practices and for related matters. Standing in the name of Honorable Julius Onveri, House Leader. Honorable members will recall that the bill was transmitted by the Senate seeking concurrence of the House of Representatives. The bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 20 November 2024. I now invite Honorable Onveri, the House Leader, to move that the bill be read a second time.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Professor Julius Onveri, ON, DSSRS. I rise to move that a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023 to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy in line with Section 1, Sub 3 of the Principal Act, to bring it in line with current realities and best practice, and for related matters, SB 277 be read a second time. I so move.
Minority Leader, can you second, please?
Mr. Speaker, my dear colleagues, Kingsley Chinda, I rise to second the motion that the bill be read a second time. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. I think this is a straightforward bill. With your kind permission, we'll just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Deposit Insurance Corporation Act number 63 of 2023 to make the corporation more effective, ensure its independence and autonomy in line with Section 1(3) of the Principal Act, to bring it in line with current realities and best practices, and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee of the Whole for further legislative action. The second order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to repeal the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Act Cap M229 LFN 2004 and any amendment thereto, and enact the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Establishment Act ETC Act 2024 and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Ademorin Kuye. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Thursday, November 2023, and now invite Honorable Kuye to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, my most right honorable Speaker, Your Excellency. My name remains Ademorin Kuye, speaking for the good people of Shomolu Federal Constituency, and I'm from Lagos State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to move for a bill for an act to repeal the Murphy Act, Cap M229, Laws of the Federation, and to reenact the Murphy Act of 2024. Mr. Speaker, the Murphy Act is an act that was established in 1959 to serve for an agency under the Ministry of Finance to serve as a sole custodian.
Honorable Kuye, you didn't seek for the permission of the House.
Yes, I've read that one. Yes. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Abdussamad, why are you always in a hurry when it is a finance bill? Is it for patriotism or for other patriotism? So please go ahead.
Mr. Speaker, honorable colleagues, I remain Abdussamad Dasuki, representing Kebe Tambuwal from Sokoto State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion that this very important bill, read by my brother Honorable Kuye, is read for the second time. I so second. Thank you very much, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable Kuye, because the bill is a very important one, I think you need to give us a little more explanation on why you want to amend this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Act was first established in 1959.
Honorable Miriam, can you come back and sit down?
Of the
Honorable
Parliament.
Miriam, come back to your seat, please.
Through an act of the Parliament to serve as a sole custodian of federal government assets throughout the Federation. However, Mr. Speaker, since its establishment, this agency has not operated at its full potential, given the pillage and brigandage and abandonment, diversion and misappropriation of federal government assets throughout the country. Mr. Speaker, this new bill, if passed, will reinvigorate MOFI as it provides the necessary institutional framework to guide its corporate governance and establish its organizational structure. Key provisions in the bill particularly deals with fixing its establishment, the objective and the functions, and the power of the agency. Part 2 of the proposed reenactment talks to the issue of the corporate governance, the organizational structure, the administration, and the management of the agency. Part 3 of our proposed enactment speaks to the issue of financial provisions for the corporation. Part 4 of the new bill speaks to asset registry and management. This is in consonance with a resolution earlier passed by this House calling on MOFI to ensure that Nigeria has an asset register where all the assets of the federal government are listed. Part 5 of the new bill speaks to the issue of indemnities, particularly in Section 39, to cover the officers of the agency while carrying out their official duties. Part 6 deals with miscellaneous provisions, particularly as to their relationship with this parliament. Mr. Speaker, when this bill is passed, it will help to increase the revenue that is accruing to the country and help to block leakages, to increase the value of the national asset portfolio, increase the economic growth and job creation in the country. It will make Nigeria to become globally competitive amongst Committee of Nations in terms of our GDP. In conclusion, Mr. Speaker, it's essential that this legislative framework be institutionalized and we empower the corporation to provide the needed economic stimulus for the growth and effective and efficient use of federal government's assets as a check against all those abandoned federal government assets and redundancy and misappropriation of same. I urge my distinguished colleagues to support this bill for its exponential growth of the nation's economy. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Honorable colleagues, I think we have said enough. We understand what the bill is all about. I think we can go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right, Honorable Speaker.
Yes,
honorable members.
Clerk, before you read it, please let Honorable Abdul Samad rise up and take a bow through. Because I think between him and Kui, they are the ones who co-sponsored this bill.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to repeal the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Act M229 Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004 and any amendments thereto and enact the Ministry of Finance Incorporated Establishment STC and for related matters. Second reading.
Bill referred to the Committee on Finance for further legislative action. The third order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to establish Special Security Trust Fund to provide funding for security-related issues, apart from usual budgetary provisions from the Federation, intervene in combating security issues in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Ahmed Satomi. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 17 July 2024. I now invite Honorable Satomi to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Engineer Satomi Ahmad, representing Jere Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I'm from Borno State. I rise to seek for a bill for an act to establish the Security Trust Fund to provide funding for security-related issues apart from the usual budgetary provision from the Federation to intervene in combating security in Nigeria and for related matters, HB 1584. And the bill has about 30 clauses. With the permission of the House, Mr. Speaker, I move to read it for the second time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Akin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable colleagues, I'm Honorable Akin Alabi. I represent the good people of Egbeda on our federal constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Oyo State. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by Honorable Satomi so that this bill can be read a second time. As a second, Mr. Speaker.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This is a straightforward bill. With your kind permission, we'll go ahead and put the question.
It's good.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right, Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to establish Special Security Trust Fund to provide funding for security-related issues apart from usual budgetary provisions from the Federation, intervene in combating security issues in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on National Security and Intelligence for further legislative action. The fourth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to provide for establishment of Federal Institute of Technology, Ikpoba Oka, Edo State, charged with the responsibility, among other things, for the conduct of research into any branch of technological and management sciences, courses, and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Murphy Osaro Omorui. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 17 July 2024. I now invite Honorable Billy to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
distinguished honorable colleagues, my name remains Honorable Murphy Osara Omoruyi. I speak for and on behalf of the entire people of Ego, Ikpobaka Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Benin City, Edo State, the heartbeat of the nation. Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to move that the bill for an act to provide for the establishment of the Federal Institute of Technology, Ikpobaka, Edo State, charged with the responsibility, among other things, for the conduct of research into any branch of technological and management sciences courses, and for other related matter, HB 636, be read the second time. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Clement?
Order, Honorable Jega.
Is it Clement? Mudashir, sorry. This is the second time
Honorable
I'm
Jega.
addressing you as Clement. So sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Honorable Mudashiru Lukman Alani is my name, representing the good people of Iwo Ayedire Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Osun State. I rise this afternoon to second the bill that the bill should be raised for second time. I should second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This, again, is a very straightforward bill. It's an establishment bill, so without any waste of time, I will go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk?
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act provide for establishment of Federal Institute of Technology, Ikoba Oka, Edo State, is charged with the responsibility, amongst other things, for the conduct of research into any branch of technological and management science courses and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Science and Technology for further legislative action. Please, a point of correction on my earlier referral on the bill on finance. Incorporated the relevant committees to be referred to Committee of Finance and the Committee on Public Assets. Please, Clerk, take note of the correction. The fifth order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the National Health Act 2014 to prohibit and penalize organ trafficking in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Fuad Kawede Laguda. Honorable members will recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, 28 March 2024. I now invite Honorable Laguda to move that the bill be read the second time.
Honorable Speaker, members, my name remains Fuad Kayode Laguda. I represent the good people of Surulere 1, Lagos State. I stand before you today. To read that a bill for the Act of Amendment of National Health Act 2014 to prohibit and penalize organ trafficking in Nigeria and for related matters be read for the second time.
Any seconder? You must be a Lagosian, but since this motion is moved by somebody from the urban side of Lagos, please, if you are from the rural side, you can rise up and second this motion. Please, only for those from the rural side of Lagos, please. Are you from the rural side?
Sub-rural.
No, I don't know that. Honorable, I don't know about that.
Mr. Speaker.
I recognize only one constituency from the rural part. Please, I beg you. You are from the urbanized side. Honorable Jimmy, please, can you second?
Right, Honorable Speaker, Azazao, a man of peace, a man of justice, a detribalized Nigerian. One bum bum do. I rise. My name is Baba Jimmy Benson. I come from Ikorodu Federal Constituency, a place that houses the biggest power plant in Nigeria. It houses 3 universities. It houses 2 ports. It has 3 million inhabitants. And I call it the Miami of Lagos. I rise to second the motion, ably moved by Honorable Lagoda, the smallest constituency in Lagos. Thank you, sir.
Honorable Laguda, do you agree to that? Do you accept that?
I can't say leader has not spoken.
Well, somebody will hear that you didn't defend the interests of that constituency.
No, sir. I said I cannot say the leader has not spoken.
So what did you say then? As a lawyer, don't be evasive.
Not true, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion again is an establishment bill. So with your kind permission, we'll just go ahead and put the question. Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the National Health Act 2014 prohibit and penalize organ trafficking in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Healthcare Services for further legislative action. The 6th order of the day is commencement of debate on the general principles of a bill for an act to amend the National Park Service Act 2004 to make provision for the inclusion of Okwango National Park, Cross River State, as part of the existing national parks in Nigeria and for related matters, standing in the name of Honorable Victor Abang. Honorable members recall that the bill was read the first time on Wednesday, October 16, 2024. And I invite Honorable Abang to move that the bill be read a second time.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name is Victor Abang. I represent the people of Ikom and Boki in Cross River State. I move that the bill for an act to amend the National Park Service Act 2004 to make provisions for the inclusion of Okwango National Park, Cross River State, as part of the existing national parks in Nigeria and for related matters be read a second time.
Any seconder? Honorable Nweke.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members, my name is Nweke Felix Uche. I represent Eleme Tai, Oyibo Federal
Honorable Taura, can you properly put your tie? Unless if you are trying to demonstrate that you are not a he for she. Even Honorable Zana and Shetima, you can see how they have done their own. Please go ahead, Honorable Nweke.
I rise to second the motion, move for this bill to be read the second time, ably moved by my friend Victor Abang. I so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Again, this bill is very straightforward. It is just seeking for inclusion of a reserve to be included in the national parks of Nigeria. So with your kind permission, we'll go ahead and put the question. Those in support of that should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. Clerk.
Right Honorable Speaker, honorable members. A bill for an act to amend the National Park Service Act 2004 to make provision for the inclusion of Okwango National Park, Cross River State, as part of the existing national parks in Nigeria and for related matters. Second reading.
This bill is referred to the Committee on Environment for further legislative action. The seventh order of the day is a motion on invocation of the provision of paragraph 17, subsection 3, part 1 of the 5th schedule to the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, for the removal from office of the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, standing in the name of Honorable Julius Ehoveri, the House Leader. Honorable Ehoveri is hereby invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, I'm Julius Ihonvere, O1 Federal Constituency, Edo State. I rise to move today a motion on the need to invoke the provisions of paragraph 17.3, part 1, 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, for the removal from office of the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal. The House notes that the Code of Conduct Tribunal is one of the key components of federal institutions in the country, saddled with the statutory responsibilities of maintaining high standards of morality in the conduct of government business and ensuring the actions and behaviors of public officers conform with the highest standards of public morality and accountability. Also notes that a statutory institution of such magnitude is expected to be an epitome of moral rectitude and virtues of integrity, probity, and accountability. However, the official conduct of Mr. Yakubu Danladi Umar, chairman of the tribunal, has fallen short of the requisite standard of a public officer to conduct the affairs of such a tribunal. Aware of the conduct of the chairman Code of Conduct Tribunal, who recently engaged in a public brawl with a security guard at the Banex Plaza shopping complex, which necessitated an invitation from the Senate Committee on Ethics, Code of Conduct, and Public Petitions, and after his first appearance, where he admitted to having been involved in such a brawl, he refused to attend subsequent sittings, thereby frustrating the efforts of the committee to investigate the allegations against him. Also recalls that by virtue of the provisions of paragraph 17.3, part 1, 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and section 22, sub 3 of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act, Cap 15, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, Mr. President and President Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces is mandated to act on an address supported by a two-thirds majority of the Senate and the House of Representatives, and praying that the chairman be so removed from misconduct, affirms that the invocation of the aforementioned constitutional provision is in this circumstance, seems to be the only way out to safeguard the sacred image of the Code of Conduct Tribunal, in line with the resolution of the 10th National Assembly to uphold the rule of law and sustain the ideals of corporate governance structure in Nigeria. Resolves to, 1, invoke and activate the constitutional provision as enshrined in paragraph 17.3, part 1, 5th schedule of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended, and section 22, sub 3 of the Code of Conduct Bureau and Tribunal Act, Cap 15, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria, 2004, by forwarding an address supported by two-thirds majority of the Senate and House of Representatives, which shall be acted upon by the President for the removal of Mr. Yakubu Danladi Umar as the chairman of the Code of Conduct Tribunal for misconduct, and 2, concur with the resolution of the Senate on the matter. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader. Any seconder? Point of order?
Yes, sir.
Please go ahead.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, honorable colleagues.
My name is Mansour Manu Soro, member representing Darazo Ventura Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I'm from Bauchi State. Mr. Speaker, I came under constitutional point of order, paragraph 17(3), part 1, 5th schedule of the Constitution, to cite a point of order. With your kind permission, may I read, Mr. Speaker?
Go ahead.
A person holding the office of chairman or member of the Code of Conduct Tribunal shall not be removed from his office or appointment by the President, except upon an address supported by 2/3 majority of each House of the National Assembly, praying that he be so removed for inability to discharge the functions of the office in question, whether arising from infirmity of mind or body, or for misconduct, or for contravention of this code. Mr. Speaker, citing this order of the Constitution, I want to observe that the Constitution provided the President to initiate the process for the removal of the chairman of the Code of Conduct. And I believe this House is yet to receive a communication from Mr. President in that regard. So I want to preach with all sense of humility.
Thank you, Honorable Manu. I want to categorically inform you that the House is in receipt, and the Senate has already taken action in this subject matter. Ours is just for concurrence. And we are accordingly guided by the provision of 2/3, of which I'm sure members, even in respect of Mr. President's directive, as well as the position already taken on bipartisan basis by the Senate, should be respected by this hallowed chamber. Thank you very much for your contribution. Honorable Taura. Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, my honorable colleagues. I still remain Honorable Saad Wada Taura, representing the good people of Ringim and Taura Federal Constituency. I am from Jigawa State. I hereby seconding the motion of my leader. I so second, sir. Thank you.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is, this prayer is as resolved by the motion. Thank you very much. The eighth order of the day is a motion on the need to investigate the abundant fishing and hydroelectric power HEP optimization regional water resource project, Wiwi, Ogun State, standing in the name of Honorable Ibrahim Isiaka. Honorable Ibrahim is hereby invited to move the motion. Chair rules, please can I see?
Once again, thank you very much. Our own speaker, the Speaker of the entire Nigerians. I am Right Honorable Dr. Ibrahim Ayokunle Isiaka. I speak for the entire Nigerians, but I have a source. And my source is for Ewikoro Federal Constituency. I'm from the fastest growing economic state in Nigeria. I'm very proud to say I'm from Ogun State, Mr. Speaker and distinguished honorable colleagues.
Honorable Matthew, please see the chairman rules and business later.
The leave of the House, I rise, Mr. Speaker, under your permission, to bring on this floor a very important motion on the need to investigate the abandoned fishing and hydroelectric power HEP optimization regional water resource projects at Owiwi in Obadaoko, Ewikoro local government of Ogun State. Mr. Speaker, the House notes the Owiwi multipurpose regional water resource project, which was abandoned since 2011, with all the derivatives and deliverables that ought to have been implemented. The Earth Concrete Dam is a purposely designed facility for irrigation, fishing, water supply, and to provide 6 megawatts hydroelectric power. Worried that a 17-meter high and 900 meters length soil gravity dam with a reservoir capacity of 22.5 meters of a water treatment plant and an irrigation system with surface area of about 10 kilometers, with water storage capacity of 22.5 million per cubic meters, and hydroelectric power generation capacity of 6 megawatts has been so abandoned. Concerned that years down the lane of the project and that of the partial delivery, the end users have not benefited from the usage, and as such, the huge investment is wasting, thereby requiring a quick intervention that will make for the value chain benefits of the project through mitigation of health and other associated risk issues. The House is also worried that the partial delivery of the project has led to wasted investment, which requires immediate intervention to mitigate all associated risks so mentioned, at ensuring that the project's value chain is achieved. The House hereby resolves: 1, urge the Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation to complete the first phase of the Regional Water Resource Project at Owiwi in Ewekoro local government area of Ogun State. 2, also urge the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security to utilize the 98 kilometers of land in the Ewekoro local government area for agricultural and agro-processing opportunities. 3, further urge the Federal Ministry of Power to harvest the potentials of the Regional Water Resource Project with the inbuilt of 6 megawatt hydroelectric power generation, and mandate the Committees on Water Resources, Agricultural Production and Services, Power to investigate the abandoned fishing and hydroelectric power optimization regional water resource project at Owiwi in Ogun State. Lastly, prayer for the House also to mandate the Committees of Water Resources, Agricultural Production and Services, and that of Appropriations to ensure that each segment of the project is captured in the 2025 budget estimates. Mr. Speaker, distinguished honorable colleagues, I so submit with due honesty and sincerity. Thank you very much, sir.
Any seconder? Honorable Maki.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker, GCON, my honorable colleagues. I rise to second the motion heavily moved by Honorable Isiaka. I so second. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm Abubakar Maki Eleman. I'm from Jigawa State. I represent Malamururi Kaugama Federal Constituency, the far from Guaram.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committees on Water Resources, Agricultural Production and Services, and Appropriations for further legislative action. The ninth order of the day is a motion on provisions of affordable housing in Nigeria, standing in the name of Honorable Emmanuel Upon Udo. Honorable Upon Udo is hereby invited to move the motion.
Thank you, Right Honorable Speaker. My honorable colleagues, my name is Right Honorable Emmanuel Upon Udo. I represent Ikonini Federal Constituency, Mr. Speaker. I come from Akwa Ibom State. Mr. Speaker, I rise this afternoon to move a motion on the provision of affordable housing in Nigeria. The House notes that data is one of the crucial factors considered in the planning and execution of projects, whether at federal or supranational levels. Also note that the housing sector in Nigeria, with a huge deficit, lacks veritable data for planning and execution of housing policies and strategies. Aware that, according to the World Population Review, over 24 million people in Nigeria are homeless, with no appropriate access to proper dwelling with some basic social amenities. Worried that Nigeria is among the top 10 countries with homeless populations, leading with 24 million, followed by Pakistan, Egypt, Syria, and Congo. Also worried that Nigeria relies on the World Bank report for housing data, as well as a market that works efficiently and provides decent shelter for its citizens. Cognizant that for a nation to grow, achieve peace, and enjoy stability, there's a need to have a housing data, as well as market that works efficiently and provides decent shelter for its citizens. Also cognizant that in December 2023, the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development awarded 3,500 units to Renewed Hope cities in selected states in the country. Resolves to mandate the Committee on Housing and Habitat to liaise with the Federal Ministry of Housing and Urban Development to fix the lack of credible, scientific, and verifiable data on the state of housing in the country and ensure access to decent and affordable housing. And also mandate the Committee on Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance and report within 4 weeks for legislative action. Mr. Speaker, thank you for this time, and I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Any seconder? Honorable Kama. Oh, please go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My names are Moses Oluwatoyin Fayinka, MHR. I represent the most peaceful constituency in Nigeria, Musi Federal Constituency. I'm from Lagos State. I rise today to second the motion as ably moved by my colleague. I so second, Mr. Speaker. Thank you, sir.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Housing and Habitat for further legislative action. The 10th order of the day is a motion on promoting local languages as medium of instruction in primary and junior secondary schools in Nigeria. Standing in the name of Honorable Kalajaye Adeboye Paul, Honorable Paul is hereby invited to move the motion.
Mr. Speaker, dear colleagues, my name is Honorable Kalajaye Adeboye Paul, PhD. I represent the good people of Ajeromi Felodun Federal Constituency, the Mini Nigeria. I'm from Lagos State, the state of aquatic splendor. I rise this afternoon to move a motion on promoting local languages as a medium of instruction in our primary and junior secondary schools in Nigeria. Aware that the use of local language will lead to strengthening the teacher-student connectivity. Also aware that promoting the use of our local language in our teaching instruction will also enhance the mother tongue, which of course is going into extinction. Further aware that engaging in the local communities in education, especially in the process, will encourage the community participation in teaching and learning. Note that using our local language particularly at the elementary and junior secondary schools, will eradicate the use of English, which is not our mother tongue, and ensure that students can learn with their mother tongue and assimilate properly. Also note that the use of local language will ensure our cultural connectivity as against what we have today. Believe that prioritizing local language will bridge the gap in our education and ensure that our culture is promoted. Therefore, the House resolved to mandate the Federal Ministry of Education to commence a pilot program in selected schools across various states to assess the feasibility and benefit of utilizing local language as a medium of expression and instruction. Finally, direct the Committee of Basic Education and Legislative Compliance to ensure compliance and report back to the House. I so move.
Honorable
Thank you.
Aminu, can you go and sit down? Find your place, please, and sit down. You didn't get the instruction of Chief Whip to approach the chair.
Go and sit down.
Any seconder? Yes, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My name remains Honorable Attorney Matthew Nwogu. I speak for the people of Abombise, Ngobala Federal Constituency. Mr. Speaker, I rise to second the motion ably moved by my colleague, as so second.
Those in support of this motion should say aye. Those against should say nay. The ayes have it. This motion is referred to the Committee on Basic Education for further legislative action. Leader of the House, can you please move that the House adjourn to tomorrow, 11 a.m.?
Mr. Speaker, in as much as I would have wanted us to remain here for another 2 hours, but because we all have to go out there and advocate for gender equality, I rise to move that the House to adjourn plenary to tomorrow, same time, same place. I so move, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
Minority Leader.
Mr. Speaker, in all forms and on all fours, I support the House Leader that I would have also desired his wishes, but I will ask that we adjourn till tomorrow. So I so second this motion.
Yeah, we can take it here that the Leader of the House and the minority would want to stay a little longer while the others can adjourn. So with the kind permission of the House, we put the question. Those in support of that should say aye. Those against should say nay. The nays can stay with the Leader of the House and the minority leader, while the rest of us can adjourn to tomorrow, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Thank you.
Legitimate coup.
I asked, I should bring it to you, or leave it. Your boss said I should bring it. Okay.
Yo, baby. How? You don't need the extra.
Send it to your
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you, baby. I'm good. Good afternoon. You don't reach out. So soon. Alpha. You do this kind. Now you don't come, none. Bele. Don't, you don't do shit. Yeah. Thank God for the sensuality. Bele. You go eat now. You don't eat. You don't eat. You don't buy anything for that. No chop. Enough. Right. Okay. No worry. All right. Yeah. Take care of yourself.
Kuna kina bukatar kudaden shi ne?
Ina zan yanzu. Wetin be nasara? That the end of nasara.
No, I didn't do kuma kana.
This guy no dey do with this guy.
Ta ya daidai.
Yeah,
Kika ce mene?
I did. No, I did tell you. I dey come up now. I just collect video.
Noise the entire life.
Yeah, noise the entire life.
Which one?
No, this is your noise. Now, what's that coming for? Live. This one we done the is it off, pa? I don't go off like that. Which? Last TV, Last TV.
When noise the enter?
After I bet you this today.
I don't even see now, and I don't hear when noise enter.
I do this. Any Jesus, I don't get memory card this thing.
When noise enter today, because
No. That's not this one. I don't know.
Now when?
I did the plan now before they finish round of man. Take up. Ya ne injin dawo?
A zuwa suka karba.
Eh? Fani da wanga ban kawo card ba. I just go collect something for gate before they finish.
No problem. Waiting there your phone. Your phone no get space.
My phone gets space.
Why you stress yourself?
Why now? Put am make I don't know. Take it back. Huh? Show you where you go. 1 hour.
Okay.
So I think we'll use this.
Ah, madam.
She did find the Baba.
I think I do this way happen now.
He say no. I don't know.
You tell me now.
Okay.
I don't forget.
Yes.
So I don't forget. As I see him, I don't remember say they don't do.
Yeah.
You tell me say don't join the league. Now I'm like
I don't turn.
Congratulations.
I don't turn married man. No. I feel like
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Your madam there,
Yeah, she did. I know if you do that type. I don't know.
No, it depends.
I don't know whether if you do that type.
If see, wait, Kaduna Abuja Ifa.
Every weekend, they do the last night. Me, I been do now. Friday, like this, no, see, Friday, no.
I get car. I don't register for union. If I want to go anytime now, I don't collect one golf within my house. The golf, see, golf. If you see the golf, I swear it go shock you. Golf
You see the
get
Yawa
pass
boy?
direct. Golf key, the one
Are
where
you
they do
serious?
along like this. The golf get clean.
They don't cut life now. Which voice? They say they hear, say live, see they on the audio. They don't cut live since now, like, say now my voice in the ear pass. Oh yeah, they come office now. Most so that I don't go here.
Hey, I thought you ended the team now.
Facebook no end. Instagram too no end. I noticed Facebook end.
Facebook no end the team. Just end the record.